So, welcome, Catherine Smith, popular dog walker, first aid trainer, and quite a few other things in the Nottingham area. So, there are so many things that you do, Catherine, but what I'm just going to ask you first of all is, what are your main things that you do? Where are you based? Who does it help and what?
Okay, so I'm based in Colic in Nottingham. The main thing I do is dog walking and also dog first aid. And I also work for another company, a training company, and I do some dog training for her as well.
No end to your talents.
It's all dog related.
So just tell me a little bit about how you came to be a dog walker, first aider and trainer.
Okay, so I started out as a dog groomer, but actually I found it quite stressful. And also I developed a problem with my eyes. I had problems with, I actually got scratched on my eyes. So I decided to do dog walking instead. And I found I much preferred that anyway. So that's how I started dog walking. So my previous dog, Josie, when she came to us, she had quite a lot of behavioural problems. And so we adopted her and thought, oh, crikey, what have we done? I've had dogs I know, bless her. I've had dogs all my life, but she really was quite challenging. So that's how I got into dog training, because I met my friend Megan, who runs Abracadabra, and she came out to spend some time with us, to kind of help us. And so then I decided to go on and do a behavioural qualification. And then because she'd seen how I'd got on with Josie and how I'd stuck to it, she invited me to come and teach some of her classes as well.
Oh,
and then the first aid, again, this is down to Josie again. Josie was quite poorly not long after we'd had her, and it was the beginning of lockdown as well.
Oh, no.
So yeah, it was a nightmare. So I already had an interest in kind of canine health and nutrition. Because of what she had, it was an autoimmune thing. So I had to kind of, I mean, the vets were helpful, but there's a lot of stuff that I found out on my own. Yeah. And that kind of got me to have more of an interest in that side of things. So as well as conventional kind of first aid, which is so important, I also like to give people alternatives as well. Because so for Josie, we couldn't worm her, we couldn't vaccinate her.
Is that because of her
treatment? Yeah, because it could trigger it again. So we had to look at other ways. So, and that's kind of how I got into that.
Wow, that's amazing. And you teach dog first aid at various venues around the area. How long have you been doing that, the dog first aid?
It's almost 4 years. So I started off teaching for a training provider, but then I decided to branch out on my own. So I've kind of rewrote the whole thing from scratch. It's been a learning curve. I love learning anyway. So I've gone on loads of different courses so that I can pass that on to other people as well.
That's absolutely brilliant. And what are the typical things that you cover in a training session, a first aid training session?
So it's kind of CPR. They cover that quite heavily in first aid, which is important. But actually, most people, hopefully, in their life will never have to do anything like that. But I think it's important to know that. Preventing accidents. We look at your pet's vital statistics, which is so important because it gives you really indicate, because they're so good at hiding pain or if they're ill. If you notice they're just a little bit off colour, if you know what their vital statistics are, you've got something to compare it to what it normally is. Because when a dog's in pain, so the heart rate will go up, the pulse rate will go up, and the temperature will go up. So if you know what your dog's base rate is, that's really handy to see if it's something a little bit more serious.
Right. So what would your, I suppose, top number one tip be from your first aid training to dog owners?
It's definitely find out what your dog's resting pulse rate is, find out what their resting breathing rate is. And I would also take a photo of their gums. So their gums should be pink, like a salmon pink colour. But, you know, they do vary slightly because all dogs are very different. So if you've got a picture of your dog's gums, you've got something to benchmark against. Because sometimes it's hard to think, oh, are they pale or aren't they? If you've got a photo of what they normally look like, then obviously you can compare it properly.
Well, that's amazing, because that's a very simple, easy thing that anyone could do. And most people wouldn't know that, would they?
No. And it's the first thing I do. If any of my dogs are off colour, the first thing I do is check their gums.
Right. Okay. I know what I'm going to be doing after this meeting. Okay. What would you say surprises you most about your work?
I think what surprises me most actually is dogs are just such amazing creatures. So you can have a dog that's been terribly mistreated, had the worst start in life, but they can give someone so much trust. The fact that they can still do that again, I think it's a wonderful thing.
That is so beautiful. Have you got any good stories since you've been doing all your various dog-related things?
Oh, goodness. Oh,
Anything?
God, I should have written them down, really, because there's probably quite a few. So the reason I won't use extended leads is because I don't particularly like them anyway. I think they're a bit confusing for dogs, but particularly for larger dogs, I wouldn't use them. So I had an accident which could have been a lot worse, actually, but it wasn't. Well, it was horrific, but I didn't hurt myself. So I was walking a dog and she took off after a squirrel. And when she got to the end of the extended lead, I didn't want to let her go. She was a bit of a flight risk, and I flew through the air, poo bags that exploded. So it was in my hair, it was on my glasses. Yeah. It wasn't good.
Oh, Catherine.
Yeah, it was a bad day.
No. Oh dear. Yeah. Okay. That's
So
that's a good one.
that'd be a lesson to everybody
That's
else.
one for the memoir, isn't it? That one.
Yes.
So, what is one thing you would like people to know about your work, whether it's dog walking, the first aid, or training? What's one thing you'd like people to know?
I think so. I suppose the message I'd like to get across to people really is a lot of people don't know dog first aid is a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or they think it's just for people who work with dogs, but actually it's really a good idea for all dog owners to kind of have a basic understanding. So even if they don't come through a course or anything, if they kind of watch a video I've done and that helps them, then that really, I feel like my job's done there, because it can really make a difference to the outcome.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's it. Really is just spreading kind of the importance of dog first aid, because you cannot pick up, the phone and ring an ambulance. I think knowing that you did your best, it just helps you, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So tell me a little bit about your animal friend, Rufus. Tell me a little bit about him.
Rufus. So Rufus, he's supposed to be a cockapoo. I don't know. He's absolutely massive. He weighs 27 kilos. So
wow.
But we got Rufus in October, but I've known him a long while because I've walked him for a while.
Okay.
So me and Rufus, it's interesting to get to know him, because I know from a dog walking perspective that actually he's quite different at home. So it's interesting to get to know that side of his personality. So we're kind of understanding each other a bit more now.
Yeah.
He's lovely though. He's a very laid back dog, a bit too laid back. Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of which, then that leads us nicely in. So, as you know, I did a little, just a sort of a fun mini communication with Rufus.
Yes.
So, and you had a few questions for him. So, I will now tell you what Rufus and I chatted about. So,
I dread to think.
No, it's all lovely. Okay, so I connected with Rufus. I introduced myself, and he greeted me by doing a big yawn and a stretch. And he did the play bow, the kind of hello kind of bow that they do. And he was very happy to talk. So I asked him to show me or describe his personality. So he shared that he is playful and easygoing. He said that he can be a little bit worried or nervous at times, and that he likes going in the car and getting wet and muddy. Water did feature in some of the things that he mentioned to me. And he said that he's loving and he's very focused on you, and he looks to you for direction.
Oh. That's interesting, because Rufus hates the rain. So he has a big marmar, but if he sees a puddle, that's completely different. He'll go and lie in it.
Yeah, that is absolutely different. I can see that. Yeah. I'll come back to that in a bit, because he did share some other images to do with playing in water.
Oh my gosh.
So he shared that although he's large, he's got a good sense of his own body shape and size. So indoors he's careful and he's not clumsy. And he says that he can sit with a very nice posture. He showed himself sitting with beautiful posture, and he can keep out of the way if he needs to, and he doesn't want to be a nuisance. So he showed himself playing with a light blue blanket. I don't know if he's got a light blue blanket, but in this image, he was playing with a light blue blanket and he was kind of pawing it and then shoving his snout under it, just playing with it basically. So it might be a thing he's actually got, or he might be just, I don't know, sharing a certain sense of.
Yeah, he hasn't particularly got a blue blanket, but he has got a thing about blankets.
Has he?
And cushions, yes.
But what does he do with them?
The cushions he hunts. So they he hunts and destroys us. We've had to remove all the cushions, bless him. Yeah. And sometimes he does get a bit carried away with the blankets, but he doesn't tend to rip them to shreds like he does other things. He really is into
soft digging. Furnishings. Yes, he was loving his blanket.
He loves the soft furnishings. Yeah.
He also said that he likes chocolate, and I said, really? Dogs don't have chocolate, do they? And he showed you giving him something chocolate coloured, which was a treat or a chew, and he said, that's my chocolate. So he's not saying he eats chocolate, he's saying to him this is his chocolate equivalent, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I asked him about his kind of relationships and his role kind of in your household, or his role generally. And he said that he is a peacekeeper, a referee, and a trainer. So, I know. And when he shared this, he showed himself wearing what looked like a football shirt, and he was in between two sides or teams. So I said, well, can you give me a bit more detail on that? There's quite a lot going on there. So he said that as a trainer, get this, he trains his mum, you, to walk nicely on the lead, to sit, to take treats nicely, and have good recall. So is that true? You're good at those things, Catherine?
I think I am quite good, yeah.
I mean, while he was saying this, he was actually showing images of himself doing all these things. So
yes,
he's probably reflecting your role as a dog trainer there. He's probably, understanding that you are a trainer. Yeah. But yes, he thinks you walk very nicely on the lead and you've got good recall. So well done, Catherine. As a referee, he shared the sound of a whistle and some kind of sports game starts, and he's in the middle. The players start running around and he's watching the activity, and he stops it getting too rough. And he says it's all good-natured fun for you.
Well, sometimes when he goes on walks, we bump into. So he walks with another dog who he's very good friends with, and they wrestle quite a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do bump into other dogs, and he doesn't like it if it gets too. Because the dog he walks with, her name's Twiglet, she's lovely, but she can get quite carried away, and he doesn't like that. Right. So yeah, he does sometimes go in to stop her kind of getting a little bit OTT. Yeah. Yeah, so he is a little bit like, no, you need to stop that now.
Oh, yeah. good lad. Oh, and then as a peacekeeper, he says that he shows everyone how to be peaceful, and he is a model of calm behaviour, he thinks. So I said, how are they all coming along with that then? And he says they're doing well. They're a lively bunch, so I have my hands full. So I don't know whether he's referring to your home or the dogs that he walks with.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Oh. Okay, so then I asked him, what's your relationship with Catherine? And he says, I love her. She's my mum. We go everywhere together, and I help her with her work. So,
yeah, he does actually. Yeah, he does. Because he does a lot of videos for me.
Does he? Oh, cool. Yes, he does. Yes. I've seen him in a few videos. Yes. Oh, there you go. He is your assistant to help you.
I want paying soon.
Yes. Paying in chocolate.
Yeah.
So I asked if he has a soul contract with you, and he says, I'm helping her blossom and become who she's meant to be. She is always unfolding her potential. So then we come to your questions and our message for him. So you had 3 questions. So you asked, is he happy? And he said, of course I'm happy. I'm very fulfilled. My work is very rewarding. So yeah, he's very happy with you.
Good.
Now, number 2, this one might be a bit like, what? So you said, is there anything we can do to make his life better? And what he did was he brought me a toy, and it turned out to be a black puppy, and it was wet. I don't know why it was wet, because we like playing in the water, perhaps. He put it on the floor and kind of licked it affectionately. And I said, are you saying you want a puppy? And he said, well, I'd be open to it. I could look after it. So
Oh, okay.
when kids say they want a dog, isn't it? I'd look after it. I'll look after it. So then he lay down to sort of lick it and nibble it. But to be honest, the way he was handling it, it was more like he would a toy. So he had it in between his front paws, and he was just licking it and chewing it. And you know, sort of, he was gazing at it very protectively and adoringly. So yeah, I said to him, look, I can't promise a puppy because it's down to Catherine's circumstances and what her wishes are and what's actually appropriate. But he understood, and what he was saying was, you know, if they were thinking of getting a puppy, I'm open to the idea and I'll help look after it. So I'll leave that one with you.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah.
He seems like a very caring dog, actually, as I'm kind of going back through this. You know, he seems sort of quite responsible, and you know, he's a good guy.
He is. Yeah, he is. He is a nice guy. Other dogs tend to like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just quite popular, really.
Oh, good. So you asked, what's his favourite activity? So this is where he showed himself running through water and playing. And he seems to love running through and diving into the water. And he was throwing a stick or some kind of other object up into the air, and water spraying around in a big circle. Like, so I wasn't sure whether the object he was holding was actually a hoop or a ring, or whether it was just like, you know, flinging his head round, and that's what was creating the water spray. So I said, so you like playing in the water then? He said, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, he does. A bit too much.
So I then gave him your message, which is just that he's very much loved. And he said, oh, thank you, little bashful. And he does know, and he says he feels your love all the time. It's nice and warm, and he basks in it.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, he feels loved. So that's brilliant. And then finally, last couple of things. I asked him if he has a message or advice for you, and he says, I love you. I think you're very clever and strong. And he sees you as being on a strong and steady course to whatever your goals are. So, yeah.
Thank you, Rufus.
Yes, yeah. He's very supportive. What a good lad. So then I said, have you got any, other comments or anything else you'd like to chat about today? And he just shared an image of some big white wings on a background of a blue sky. So I said, well, what does that mean? And he just said, be free. And I said, well, who's this message for? Humanity.
Oh, wow. That's quite deep, isn't it?
Yeah. Thanks, Rufus. So, yeah, I think he was just, just giving us a general message of wisdom from dogs there to all of us. And then he signed off he then showed himself giving you a hug and knocking you over, like, yay, hi, mum, knocking you over. And then I thanked him for the communication, and he put his paws on my shoulders and licked my face, which is very nice. So I said thank you and goodbye, and he just shut off. He just dashed off. Yeah,
that sounds about right. Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It was an absolute pleasure to speak with. Very nice chap. So I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to say about that, and then I've just got a couple more questions for you.
The only thing I was going to ask really is I'm kind of interviewing you now, but for other people. So the animal doesn't have to still be with us. They could be.
No, they can be in spirit. Honestly, Catherine, it makes no difference. Unless you tell me, I wouldn't know whether the animal I'm speaking to is living or in spirit.
That's interesting.
So yeah, it's beautiful. So, Catherine, have you got any kind of future plans with any of your different things that you offer people? Anything interesting coming up, or anything you want to tell people about?
Well, so my plans for the future are, I'm currently working towards a canine health and nutrition qualification with BCCS. So I really want to get that finished this year.
Yeah.
I'm also doing sniffer dog training with the School of Canine Science. So I started it with Josie, bless her, and she was smashing it. And then Josie passed away halfway through. So I've I've started again with Ruth. I'd really like to get that done, because we'd really like to deliver scent training for dogs as well, because obviously dogs love sniffing. It's really good keeping dogs calm, and great for reactive dogs. So that
sounds amazing. Actually, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine there's lots of dogs that benefit from that.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's amazing. Wow. There's just so much going on, isn't there?
Yes.
Catherine, well, we've still got some time. Where can people
Okay.
find you? How can they get in touch with you?
I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram, but probably the easiest way is just through my website because it's easy to remember,
Okay.
which is www.muttleys, and it's Muttleys with a double T, like the cartoon character.
Like the cartoon.
Yeah, .me.uk. So anybody can contact me through there as well. Yeah, that's probably the best way to find me.
Fantastic. And they can contact you for first aid training, dog walking, anything else?
Also do pet portraits as well.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you are a fantastic artist. I'm following you on
Oh,
Instagram for
thank
your
you.
beautiful, beautiful drawings. And you do that under a different kind of brand or name, don't you?
So
Yeah.
now that's called the hand drawn hound.
The hand drawn.
Yeah. And again, I'm on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram. Thing about animals, I don't know what it is that I really enjoy drawing them. So yeah. So it started off doing a couple for friends and it's kind of just grown from there really.
So you take commissions, do you? And
I do, yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And what do people do? Do they give you like a photo or how does that work?
So yeah, normally I just ask for a photo. And normally I can, because some people have come with really old photos and they're quite blurry, but I can normally kind of use a bit of artistic license and sort it out. But yeah, a clear headshot is best. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that people need to know. So for dog walking and first aid, they would presumably need to be somewhere in the Nottingham area to be able to take advantage of that. Do you have kind of like a catchment area as such, or
dog walking? Literally, Colic and 2 miles around Colic. Really,
okay.
I'm actually full at the moment, really, for dog walking.
Well done, very good.
Yes, thank you. But for first aid, I run classes in Netherfield. I've just started running them in Heworth. I'm running one for Build a Bond dog training, where I met you. So we've got one there in May as well. The hardest part is finding venues. So if anybody knows somewhere that's a nice venue, then if they want me to come, I'm happy to come and deliver a first aid course.
Fantastic. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, well, I think that's probably everything, isn't it, Catherine?
Brilliant. Yeah.